Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're back with another rack store pickup. This time I was able to grab two fragrances from the same brand. It's actually a car brand, but these are two that I personally have never seen in the rack store. I've heard of these popping up maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago at rack stores, but ever since then I've heard nobody mention these. Nobody has come across these, and they are starting to pop up at my local Burlington. And one thing I will say is that Burlington has absolutely been stocked. They've had a ton of stuff, and one thing that I think Burlington does better than Marshall's, TJ Maxx, they tend to typically have more variety. Normally you go into a Marshall's, TJ Maxx, I know you guys say this all the time, that your stores don't have crap. I would say that the higher end fragrances pop up more at TJ Maxx and Marshall's. There's definitely more variety at Burlington's. There seems to be more of a turnover in what fragrances they carry. So I think this is a good example of that. The two fragrances that I was able to find is probably no question as to what I grabbed based on the footage, but Bentley from Men Intense, which is a fragrance that, full disclosure, I've tried. I had a decant of this a while back, barely ever wore it, ended up giving it away, and Bentley from Men Black Edition. Now, one of the things is I wanted to revisit Bentley from Men Intense. This is probably one of the more famous cheap fragrances on the market today still. For just overall performance, scent profile, people really like this one. The one that is kind of the question mark for me is Black Edition, because I've heard this come up. They're both eau de parfum concentrations, by the way. I've heard this one talked about in the past, not recently. One thing that I found really interesting is both of these at the bottom of the box, you can see Lalique Beauty right here, I believe. Yes. No, sorry. The other side. So Lalique Beauty right there. So I don't know if this is, I'm guessing it's Lalique that's packaging this and under the Bentley name. And yeah, so I'm excited to try both of these. I paid $29.99 for each of these, and they are the 100 ml. So excited to bust these open. I'm gonna try them on skin. I'm gonna let you guys know what notes I pick up and let you know if these are any good. Let's get into it. So the first one I want to take a look at is Bentley from Men Intense. And the reason why I didn't wear this one when I had it was because I think this type of scent profile just wasn't my thing. It is a very potent scent, my memory of it, very powerful, to the point where I would be wearing it and kind of felt like I needed to scrub it off. Now, whether or not my taste has changed since then remains to be seen, is part of the reason why I really want to give this a second chance. So let's take a look at the atomizer. Pretty decent atomizer, nothing too crazy. Okay, so already I can tell you, smelling this is not as powerful or potent as I once thought it was. And that is probably a result of me having just a more experienced nose, and that I've tried far more fragrances that I guess are niche and a little harder to wear and a little more artistic. This to me is very pleasant right now in the air. It has a sweetness to it, beautiful boozy note, and a little bit of smoky wood. So let's see what it does off of skin. Yeah. Leather, definitely a standout here. Leather, booze, smoky woods, really masculine, but also has an underlying sweetness to it. And I think maybe initially when I had first tried this, it was just a little bit too harsh, maybe, not as smooth of a fragrance that I was probably used to. So, but this one, it's not going to give you those clean, fresh vibes. That's for sure. This is a masculine fragrance. It kind of checks all the boxes for masculinity, or what you would perceive as being a very masculine, manly fragrance. It's got the booziness, it has the smokiness, it has the leather, all of those things. So really, when I smell this, it's similar to something like a John Varvatos Dark Rebel, which is one of my favorite fragrances. Doesn't smell exactly like that one. That's not what I'm saying. It just, the scent profile is very similar to that. So this is one that I would imagine a guy, leather jacket, you know, drinks hard liquor out of a glass straight up, that type of thing. Very masculine, very manly. Obviously more ideal for cooler weather because it does have this sort of bitter, sharp edge to it that would really work well in the cold, in my opinion. So right now, first impressions, I'm really liking this one. And this is one that I've wanted to retry for a long time. And because it gets a ton of hype. It's one of the most talked about cheap fragrances on the market. And at one point, this was on every single list, every single top 10 cheapie list. This was near the top. So definitely a really nice fragrance on first impressions. Let's check out Black Edition, and then I'll jump back here, see how much this one changes. Let's see what that one's all about. So here you have Bentley for Men Black Edition, pretty cool black bottle. I like these kind of flask style bottles. I don't know, I like how they sit on the shelf. They don't take up a ton of space. Really nice. So let's take a look at the atomizer. I would imagine it's very similar to pretty much the same atomizer. The other thing I wanted to add is the caps. Really nice heavy cap. So the presentation overall is really nice here. It doesn't feel cheap. Although oh wow, okay. Not what I was expecting from this. Wow, this is also reminding me of something. I like this one. Has a slightly powdery, aquatic, leafy green, almost like a violet feel to it as well. Much fresher, much cleaner smelling than Bentley for Men Intense. But not what I was expecting from this. Not really sure why. I know very little about it. I just know that it's been talked about. It's some people's favorite from the house. You have some woods. One thing I will say is that the Black Edition smells a little more synthetic to me than the Bentley for Men Intense. But it's going to remind you of things like YSL. Just that's kind of the first thing coming to my mind. Doesn't smell exactly like that fragrance, but it has some of those citrus fruity notes up top, some of those woods, the aromatics, green. It's a very aquatic feeling almost probably from a violet leaf. I'd be really curious to see what's in here, what the notes are. I'm going to take a look and see what the notes are in both of these. The one thing that's pretty clear to me immediately is this is very synthetic and not necessarily in a good way. Just smells a little cheap to me, but not bad. This is something that I think would settle down after like 15, 20 minutes or so. It's already getting a little better. So a little bit smooth, creamy. Not bad. I actually think this is kind of nice, but I don't really know what this is reminding me of. It smells like something else. It's closer to something than something, as I said, the YSL. It's definitely closer to another fragrance. Let's take a look really quickly at the notes in both of these, and then I will let you know my overall thoughts. The notes for Bentley for Men Black Edition, top notes are violet, tangerine, pink pepper, and nutmeg. Mid notes are papyrus, earthy notes, patchouli, sweet notes, and jasmine. And the base notes are atlas cedar, moss, incense, tobacco, and tonka bean. And the notes for Bentley for Men Intense, top notes are black pepper, bay leaf, and bergamot. Mid notes are rum, woody notes, cinnamon, clary sage, and African geranium. And the base notes are incense, leather, benzoin, cedar, and patchouli. So as far as Black Edition goes, definitely picking up more of that violet. That violet leaf is a standout here. It's definitely airy, aquatic. It has some floral notes to it. It's a little bit spicy and green and very clean smelling, easy to wear. Not my favorite, if I'm being 100%. My favorite of the two is definitely the Bentley for Men Intense. And what that is reminding me of slightly is something like Givenchy Gentleman EDP. It has some of that same character to it as that fragrance. I love that fragrance. That's one of my favorite fragrances ever. And this one is almost just a little bit more powerful, less refined, rough around the edges version of that fragrance. So they're not exactly the same, but it's definitely reminding me of Gentleman Givenchy Eau de Parfum. So both of these, I think, are really nice fragrances. This one, as I said, not my favorite, but I think I can see why people like this one. I can see a lot of people liking this one, and definitely probably liking this one more than this one. This one is far more mass appealing, easier to like, which is probably why I like this one a little bit more. It's a little more interesting, has more depth, smells better quality, and I think is overall the better scent of the two. So this is a really nice pickup. If you guys find this one, give it a try. I think you will love this one, especially if you're a fan of really masculine leather fragrances with tobacco and boozy notes, just like Gentleman Givenchy Eau de Parfum. And this one is just more for the casual wear. I think that they just want to smell clean, fresh, something for the office. Think Burberry Touch, something in the vein of that fragrance. So I don't know why I thought there was something different. Maybe it's just the black bottle. I knew what I knew about this one and was probably assuming this one is a more powerful, maybe leather fragrance, but not that at all. So would love to know what you guys think of Bentley for Men Intense and Bentley for Men Black Edition. Which one is your favorite of these two? Do you own them? Have you tried them? Let me know in the comment section down below. But if you like what you saw today, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Hit that bell notification so you are updated whenever I upload new content. But until then, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.